Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the ESL Major League here for Heroes of the Storm. My name is James Kylaris Carroll. Alongside me is Johan Todd Merlo, and today we'll be bringing you some Heroes of the Storm action from the Major League as we continue on through Season 3. To start things off, we will be having Team ROCCAT going up against Puszek team, and then afterwards we will be having Team Kinguin going up against Team Huron. Todd, joining us here for some Heroes action. You looking forward to it?
The T-shirt says it all, James.
Okay.
I actually wore this earlier for a StarCraft show, so I'm, I'm navigating even in very dangerous territories over there because, StarCraft players, you can only play one game according to them. But yeah, looking forward to these games. I don't know if you knew that, but on Team Puszek, assuming Terror is still on it, Terror is one of the players, right?
Go Terror, yes.
Yeah, he's a very old school Warcraft 3 player. I went to a tournament in Russia and played against him. He's Polish.
That must have been a long time ago, actually.
He played Undead.
Wow. I didn't even realize. Well, there you go. We can take a look at how the league has shaped up so far here for Season 3. A little bit of a different format compared to Seasons 1 and 2. We only had 8 teams participating in both of those seasons. This one, though, we have 2 groups at the moment. We're obviously looking at the teams that are going to be playing first. Team ROCCAT doing pretty good for themselves with a win in the first week. That was over Team Griffiths. And then over in Group B, we will be looking at, obviously, Team Kinguin, who took themselves a win over Alternate Fancy as well. And then we have Huron team, who, unfortunately for them, fell to Team Liquid in that first week. It was a little bit of a tough time for them. They brought out some very interesting picks, which I'm sure we're probably not going to be seeing reiterated today because, I mean, we saw a Murky for all intents and purposes, and that was
why not?
A bit strange.
Murky's great, man.
Is he? Great. Well, thanks, Todd, for that input. All right. So,
didn't you say some team used it and won with it?
Yes, on Battlefield of Eternity.
Yeah, there you have it.
Slightly different circumstances. Okay, so our first game of the day, indeed, will be Team ROCCAT going up against Puszek team. And Todd, you actually cast Team ROCCAT in DreamHack recently.
Yeah. They had a tough time.
That yeah and sigh kind of says it all, really.
Yeah, they didn't look very happy after the games. You know, they had some pretty tough games. I saw a few good things out of them, but I guess they were just playing against better teams overall. So I feel like against a team like Puszek, that's one of the newer teams. Maybe they're gonna have a slight edge. They were telling me that actually in Scream they were doing pretty well. It's just really out of the 2 matches that they played in DreamHack, they weren't able to do well. And I mean they played really good teams.
Yeah, and the thing is also that going into Season 2 here of the ESL Major League, Team ROCCAT actually entered into the playoffs as seed number 1. They were top of the league when it came to actually moving on towards the playoffs, but they really didn't do as well as we were kind of expecting them to in that situation. For me, looking at a team like Team ROCCAT, with the amount of flex players that they have in their team, it's hit and miss. Sometimes they can be doing absolutely spectacularly if they really crack it and get it right, but because there are so many flex players, sometimes they get in this weird situation where they're not really playing what they want.
Applies to the draft, I think, no?
Yes.
Well, they kind of picture something, and then if it starts going wrong, they end up doing something totally different, and they're a little bit out of their depth. But they have pretty good players, which, as you said, can play a lot of heroes. So I guess if they, keep on practicing, eventually it's probably going to reward them, to be honest, if they can play, all of these heroes and can mix it up very, very well.
All right.
Actually, sorry, but I want to add one more thing. Team Liquids at DreamHack, Falcon was playing Abathur in some games.
Yes.
They showed that they also themselves have been working very, very hard at playing different heroes. So if ROCCAT is kind of, able to do the same thing and emulate that, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, having a lot of flex in your lineup is certainly something that's quite powerful. But to get into the draft here for game number 1, first map will be Sky Temple. Puszek team will be taking first pick and first ban. And if you cast our minds back to the first Playday here of Season 3 in the Major League, they were able to defeat Nihilum 2-0 after Nihilum came into their group feeling very confident. Puszek team is a team that doesn't really have a primary sponsor just yet, but they are certainly a powerhouse in this Group A and somebody that you cannot underestimate. And it looks like we have the usual bans already coming in to start things off here, with Jaina going away first and then Zeratul following up. So definitely a lot of power in those two. Neither team really wants to have to deal with them, but Abathur coming in as first pick from Puszek team, really gathering a lot of steam at the moment. She's he is right up there with the Johannas here of Heroes of the Storm at the moment.
Definitely more popular usually on maps like Cursed Hollow, though. Not necessarily on Sky Temple, I feel. You know, it's already a map where if you control very well the temples, you're already going to have that siege damage, so Abathur is not really going to bring that. What Abathur is going to bring, especially at high level between these teams, is a lot of mobility in terms of being able to jump from one lane to another. Some map control sometimes with the mines. And depending on how you play it, you know, you can play it a few different ways, but as of late, it's been a lot more about that ultimate evolution rather than evolve monstrosity and, you know, copying one of the heroes in there, doing a lot of damage. Look at this. ROCCAT, they see an Abathur, they're like, what would be great with an Abathur? I guess an Illidan, they steal it away immediately. Yeah,
completely agree. You do not really want that to be dealt with. You don't want to have to deal with even Hat Illidan, never mind Ultimate Evolution Illidan, and having two of them jumping around in your backlines and causing all sorts of havoc. It's very, very annoying to deal with. Zagara is going to go for them as well. Another good pickup on this map, not only controlling that bot lane for a while, but then later on, having all of that vision across the entirety of the map really gives Zagara, well, and more, it's kind of like a mini Void Prism, in essence, if you can hit it.
Why mini? It's the same size.
It's got a little bit of a delay.
It's okay, though. It does okay sometimes. It does more damage than a Void Prism.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Kappa.
All right, well, Puszek team, what are you going to go for? Because right now they have a world open to them. Johanna, for me, is something that I feel that would be very, very good here as a pickup. And then maybe even a Malfurion second, because you never know what can be happening in the second bans.
It really feels as if the three best heroes that you can have comboed with an Abathur, they're already taken. Because, you know, Illidan getting on top of Illidan's head, definitely the top pick. Zeratul, same thing. And then Jaina. You use Ultimate Evolution on Jaina. You got so much burst for a few seconds, and then you can use Symbiote and get right back in there and help your team. So I'm not sure what else than these three heroes is pretty good to combo with Abathur. Probably nothing in particular like that's super good to combo it with, but it's going to be okay on pretty much any hero at the front, to be honest. Be it one of the melee assassins that are left or even one of the tanks.
Yeah, the niche picks that I sometimes see are even a Butcher being replicated with Ultimate Evolution, but you know, to do that, you've got to have the proper setup with him as well. You've got to have something like a Tyrande, something like an Uther to actually follow that up. It's going to be Abathur, a Nubarak actually to follow up, which I was theorizing Johanna, but you know, Anubarak is still very, very strong here in EU meta, so can quite easily be picked up. I would love to see them take Malfurion here to just kind of round this out, because right now, damage dealers, maybe a Kael'thas, but other than that,
Yeah, I guess Vikings is a possibility, and if somebody picks Malfurion, it's going to be even more encouraging for somebody not to pick the Vikings, even though we've still seen it being picked quite a few times in this situation. Muradin is one of the very popular picks here as well. Tyrande on this map is pretty insane. Uther, I mean, they have Illidan, ROCCAT later on. Definitely, we're gonna be looking to go into Uther, so Puszek could have actually stolen it if they wanted to.
An already double tank lineup comes down here, so this already limits ROCCAT a little bit in their tank choices.
They're gonna ban one more possibly as well.
If I look at this, a good ban for me for Puszek team would have been Tyrael, just so you don't have the combination of Illidan Tyrael to be as hard diving composition as you would like. But ROCCAT has their ban to start things off. Any kind of thoughts as to where they go here?
I mean, Abathur's already taken. Like, there is nothing particularly that you can see it comboed with too much. So they're going to have the next few picks. So they're probably very focused on their next few picks, I think.
Do you think that this healer could be this ban could be a healer, considering that they have 2 picks coming up and Puszek team doesn't have any at the
Possibly,
moment?
And also I think, like, if you think about how Puszek can still counter this comp, you know, they could pick something like Tyrande and maybe try and take down the Illidan a little bit faster, even though with 2 tanks and a Tyrande and an assassin it'd be hard. So they're just gonna go for like an overall strong hero band here with the Kael'thas. Gonna remove a lot of the damage. I guess they already had the Zagara, and if they want now, they can go for another assassin. And Jaina's already out. So it's actually a pretty good option that I guess they went for here.
I think Puszek team here with the Muradin ban is basically baiting ROCCAT into taking a Tyrael and being like, we can deal with it. We think we're going to be okay with it. Like, I mean, what else are you really going to take here? Technically, Arthas is still not a bad choice here for ROCCAT.
ETC as well.
Maybe ETC.
Jesus too. In my heart.
In your heart, yeah. Not many more places than that, my friend. Maybe sometimes on Battlefield of Eternity at the moment, but yeah, I think ROCCAT here eventually just picks up Tyrael. But if they pick Uther here, I think that's a really good choice. They're gonna go Nazebo, and then maybe Uther.
By the way, did we mention that Leoric's not available yet?
We did not mention that.
Okay.
But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Leoric is currently not available until next week's Playdays, when when every single team has basically had 2 games played, and then it kind of resets round, so everybody will have a good chance with Leoric. So Nazebo's here. Nazebo's come out to play. He's the guy that, well, you know, to a certain degree, is like a mini KO fast. He hits that power spike at level 16. The leaping spiders are very, very strong, and a lot of room and control with the zombie wall to be able to shut people down.
Yeah, on this map as well, against the heroes that they are facing, if they can get a good and clean surround, it's going to do quite a bit of damage, offer some lockdown as well. The ultimate is going to do a lot of damage. A lot of the time you're going to see Nazebo, you know, very high up there, both in siege and hero damage. But with Zagar, I'm not sure if he's going to be toppling the board for ROCCAT. But definitely will do his job, though. What's the pick, though, do they go for? Do they go for Uther now, for Illidan, or do they try and... they go for Rhaegar, wow.
Yeah, there are 2 directions that they could have gone, because I feel that they're forced into Tyrael. They could have technically gone something like Uther, Tyrael, and then the final pick be Falstad, but then it's like really all in, right?
Yeah.
You're hoping that that initial burst does something. So this is, as you say, the more well-rounded composition of, we're going to slowly chew you down. And then Puszek team here, because they've pretty much been dictating this whole draft phase, I feel, they have a lot of room here, but not that many more damage dealers to actually choose from, considering.
Yeah, Vala is probably the most solid one that everybody, you know, will fall back to and rely on here.
Tyrande.
Wow.
Maybe.
They go for a melee assassin with 2 tanks in there already, rather than just 2 assassins. The thing is, if they go Tyrande, they don't have a single, you know, proper assassin to deal a lot of damage.
Well, it comes back to what I said at the very beginning, right? You know, with what you could use for Ultimate Evolution, Butcher is one of the only last ones remaining after you mentioned that Illidan, Zeratul, and Jaina are gone. So
what about Vala, though?
You can, actually, I mean,
it's a lot more solid.
You can definitely technically Ultimate Evolution Valor as well, but the problem is that the Ultimate Evolution eventually going down onto Butcher, having to deal with 2 charges, and then the amount of sheer damage he can push out is really irritating. So zombie walls are going to have to be really on point. Area control is going to have to be really on point from ROCCAT.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see what both teams close it out here. What's your guess here for ROCCAT? Arthas, or you think ETC? Or even like a Diablo or a Shen. Or Tyrael.
I still kind of think a tanky Tyrael here. I still kind of think a tanky Tyrael.
I always underestimate it, to be honest. Like every time I look at the draft and there's Tyrael available, I'm always like, oh yeah, Arthas or ETC here. But it's true that he's been doing pretty well. We've seen top teams, Team Liquid included, you know, picking it up a lot for Lucifron.
I forgot that they needed a healer during all of this, so Malfurion makes a lot of sense. They could have gone Uther still for Divine Shield, but it looks like, you know, Malfurion, very good on this map, obviously, with the AoE healing on these temples. Very, very important. And now ROCCAT...
I wonder if it's a better choice, though, than Uther, because we've seen what Butcher with Divine Shield can do. Not too many people can do that.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I think, again, it's like, because they know that ROCCAT can't, or never committed to the Tyrael Falstad path of explosion and just win, they're relying on sustain heal more than the burst heal, right? Against a composition like ROCCAT was forced into, which was more the kind of nibble, nibble, nibble damage. So, but I still think that there should be Tyrael. We could see Arthas. We could see Arthas, because his lockdown with Howling Blast is still very strong on this map as well.
We could see ROCCAT actually end the draft with more time pool than Puszek, which I would be very surprised by.
I too would, yes. That's a good point. That is a good point.
Look at this.
ROCCAT's not
running it down.
They're like, we must be under 7 seconds, guys.
We got a reputation.
Well, it looks like they're going to get there very soon. 8, 7, pick on 6. Oh, what a shame. Tyrael. All right, there we go. So
They're going to have some seriously good engage.
yeah.
I guess Zaga will be sent bot and pretty much dominate that lane against anybody. Unless they can, gank and she's not careful, which I'm sure she will be. Yeah, looking at the lanes, with that, little bit of weird / awkward composition here by Puszek, how do you think they lane this? In terms of Abathur, like surely when the first 2 temples will come up, he will be at bottom trying to soak, but before that, they have to play defensive, right? Last time I said that about a team, I think it was Virtus Pro, and then they played aggressive and got demolished by MVP Black.
Yeah, that was not going so well for them. That was kind of bad. Let me think. Abathur just doing what he does. Butcher may end up roaming. Even Butcher roaming isn't exactly the best composition because they don't really have much lockdown. Joanna in a solo lane, maybe. I think regardless of what they're doing, they're looking more for the mid-game potential than anything.
I mean, they're looking for the temple fights, obviously, to try and win those very clearly, pull ahead in experience, get more temple shots, soak very nicely across multiple lanes at the same time. Imagine they win a fight, like for the first few temples, and Abathur is already at bottom soaking with, his actual body where he is. He can actually soak at the top at the same time with Symbiote while they shoot they shoot all of the ammo from the temple and soak middle themselves. So, like I said, Abathur offers a lot of, mobility in the sense that he can kind of jump from one place to another with his attention span that he has and soak experience in multiple places. And obviously the goal with this kind of composition here is always going to be to, kind of snowball, get level 10 earlier, try to force a good fight. And then from there, you're in a good position. Yeah,
I think the Puszek team does have the composition here to really make that work against Team ROCCAT. I feel that ROCCAT has to seize the initiative a little bit early in this game looking at the lineup, because if they don't, it's going to be difficult. Well, I think it will be difficult regardless at the beginning to even get kills as long as Puszek team plays it a little bit defensively, but... We'll see, because they do have that Abathur in tow. They can be soaking, as you say. They can be on the temples at the same time. So it's going to be interesting.
I'm writing a little bit to the players because, just remember, Azuops was also a Warcraft 3 player.
Oh, yeah.
And both Terra and Azuops, they played Undead. And they were both, I think, at this tournament.
Oh, wow.
Where in Moscow once, where we were. So I just made a joke that they're going to have a rematch here from that tournament.
That's pretty sick.
And then Terra said too easy.
I didn't realize GoTerra was actually a Warcraft 3 player.
It's pretty old school.
So, yeah, seems so. Well, looking at this, how it's all played out, do you give favor to anybody here going into the first game?
I've said it before. I'm really not a big fan of like double tank comps like this with like a melee assassin. So maybe ROCCAT. Yeah? I'm feeling ROCCAT here. It's funny because last time I said that also, there was MVP Black and I was like, this comp's not going to work.
Yeah.
It did more than work.
Yeah, it did. I'm going to go the other way, Todd. I'm going to go with Puszek team. I'm going to go because, what we saw from them against Nihilum in the first week was pretty good, and they keep kind of striving forwards and forwards as a team. I also feel that they dictated this draft a little bit more.
Their breakout performance was beating Team Liquid, which don't lose too much. It happens, but it doesn't happen much.
Very rarely. Although then Team Liquid went on an absolute rampage. They basically hulked out and was like, well, you've made us angry and we're just going to dominate a little bit lower bracket. That was kind of cool to see. But yeah, we are good to go very soon here into game at number 1. The map order, actually, here for the first series of the day will be Sky Temple, and then we will have Cursed Hollow, and then Garden of Terror if we do need it in this best of 3. So countdown has begun, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be getting into the first game of the day. Remember, we not only have this series today, but also a second one with Team Kingwin going up against Huron team, even I should say, which is made up of an amalgamation of lots of players that have previously played here in the Major League.
A mix, as they call it in other games, right?
Yes, a mix. So we'll see what they can do. Huron team had a really unfortunate start to the season going up against Team Liquid, and I think they realized it as well. So they picked some interesting draft, to say the least. But I think today they'll feel their chances a little bit more going into it. But anyway, ladies and gents, let's get into it. Game number 1 here of the day. As we have spawning to the left-hand side of the map, it will be Puszek team with Uberim playing Abathur, Kreku playing on the Butcher, Rzuf playing on Malfurion. Gotera will be playing Anubarak, and Shubek will be playing Joanna. Then we have to the right-hand side, it will be Team ROCCAT blasting off at the speed of light with Shadowmare on Zagara. Sports Billy will be playing Rehgar. Hasu Obs will be playing Nazebo. Chris will be playing Illidan, recently joining the team, but obviously before DreamHack. And then finally, Zocca will be playing on Tyrael.
How do you think Abathur is going to be able to do here on this map?
I think well.
If they are doing bad, it's pretty hard though, I think. Like if they, you know, like say fall 1 level, 2 level behind, I feel like Abathur, it becomes almost impossible to really do much with it.
Yeah, I think so. This is actually a really good rotation for them to start things out, though. They were baiting out the fight towards the bottom. Good route into the charge, and they did get him with basically a 5-man gang, because Abathur was there for the hat there as well for Kreku.
Yeah, so definitely going to want to look again to use that mobility here from Abathur. Look at this. Tunnel stop. He's going to use Symbiote there as well to try and soak as many of those minions as possible, make sure he doesn't lose any XP.
Yeah. So the big, just in case you are unfamiliar here with Sky Temple, the big focus eventually will become on the objectives, on the temples like the one shown here. You stand on the objective, you soak up some of those shots, and then you power those on through to the temples, to the structures, and slowly push it down. It is unavoidable unless you try and rival those temples by equally standing in a similar position.
Although it's funny, I mentioned to you, Terror is undead player. Look at this. Crypt Lord.
Yeah, man. Got to play the Crypt Lord. Who else could he play? Actually, now that I think about it, I guess Arthas and other ones, but looks like they're going to rotate on around to the bottom again here. Zagara might get trapped a little bit. That's a good zombie wall, but there's still the root follows through. Very, very close to death. He doesn't manage to get him, even though it was effectively a 4-man gank.
Yeah, that was really, really close. With the temples coming up, though, they need to decide how exactly they want to rotate. I'm a little bit surprised that Abathur staying top. I fully expected him, you know, to go bottom, soak that lane, but I guess with Zagara staying there, he'd be exposed to, you know, maybe taking some damage, because you have to go forward to be able to soak.
Right, and if we take a quick look at the talents here, actually Healing Totem has been taken at level 1 by Rehgar. So,
I told you, man.
Well, it works a lot better on this map because you are trying to control these these temples, even I should say. So that's okay for the AoE healing. And looking at the other builds, looks like Abathur will be building to help out the teammates and looking to not really go for the split pushing Abathur.
Chris taking a little bit of damage here at top. It's 1-on-2, he's chasing them away. Why not? I mean, a Butcher here with the symbiote doing really, really well, but there's a fight here happening in the middle. Yeah,
and looks like Sokka's trying to push on the pressure here with Tyrael. Did actually Eldarune's Grace over the wall there that Hasuob had laid down. And at least they push them away, get all the shots, and can just back off a little bit. So overall, kind of equal trade, to be honest.
I think Puszek got a few more, right? Because they had middle for longer, and then the Butcher kind of stalled up pretty much by himself with a little bit of help from Abathur. And look at this, they're even taking the tower here with a little bit of pushing. So half a level ahead here, not bad for a start.
I think Abathur did some good soak as well in terms of how a little bit of away they were from the lanes. So gets themselves a little bit of an experience advantage whilst we have the new iteration of these Tyrael builds coming in. Vampiric Strike at level 4. Really, you'd be surprised at how much health it actually brings back to you. So it's a very, very strong little tactic coming out here from Soccer.
Isn't that a little bit too early to do the easy camp there? Unless you want to contest your opponents, and look at this.
I think they are.
Yeah. Or at least, are they seriously going to try to steal it? That almost never works. Like right now, Puszek, I think they should be able to realize that there's 3 guys missing, but they don't. Which actually means that they're losing some experience. Oh, Terror is actually going to go. Mouth gets in there, oh god. And there is 4 players.
Gotera's here as well. He does have Abathur on his head, but I'm not sure this is going to work out too well for them. And they will lose Abathur, sorry, Anubarak even, I should say, very, very quickly to that. That was quite ambitious to deal with. And they're just going to stall out, taking the hard camp up towards the top.
That is so cute here. I think they should have realized it was 4 earlier and then pulled back. But I mean, 1 hero dying here is not the end of the world. They're still ahead on experience. And now Abathur is going to take the hard camp at top because I think he realized that the temple at the bottom is about to come up here very, very soon. Actually, Illidan started his own art camp on the other side of the map pretty late. If the temple was to go up now, he might have to leave that.
Yeah, ROCCAT didn't miss out on too much experience up to the top as well.
Yeah, look at this. Does he finish it? I guess. He has to.
Yeah, I think he kind of has to now, considering how far invested it's gone along, which means that they are relinquishing this bottom temple for quite a while. Thankfully, both teams do have a mule, which will help out a lot, thanks to Abatha as well as Nazeebo, but looks like they're still both kind of doing well in terms of the soak. Obviously, it's a little bit hard for Puszek team to soak top lane at the moment because it's so far pushed up, but they're getting a lot of damage done with this temple.
Yeah, right now, Puszek getting that for free for quite a bit of time themselves. ROCCAT is going to swoop in there and try and get the engagement here. Look at his stairs already in position. He actually goes in, oh my god, into 5 heroes.
Yeah, cancelled the charge there. Did Kriku actually, as he wants to go in. A little bit apprehensive about moving in forwards, but a big AoE damage done. Chris has got to get out the front, pops his first aid, and he will be safe for now. But they need to make something happen, because 10 is going to rapidly approach here for Puszek team, and they can't really contest this just yet.
It's crazy how this kind of comp here with, you know, double tank or even quite a few melee heroes is able to do so well on action-packed maps like this one, or even the mines.
And they were trying to go in. That was the time, if any, because their entire opposition was very low in health. They didn't want to go for it, though. They didn't see the opportunity to try and do something. And that's going to mean a good chunk of experience going over to Puszek team. And that will make the next fight potentially very, very difficult here for ROCCAT.
Yeah. If they can get level 10 and then force an engagement, it's just going to be great here every single time for Puszek. But I don't think that ROCCAT's going to let that happen. I think they should just pull back, try and play as defensive as possible.
All right, well, looks like they have soaked it up. Ultimate Evolution, Furnace Blast, Tranquility, Web Blast, and finally Blessed Shield. So quite a lot of lockdown and quite a lot of potential damage here. They're looking to try and swoop down towards the bottom here with Gotair as well as Abatha. And not much that they can get done there.
Yeah, I think just soaking 10 here safely for ROCCAT was the right move. Oh, they're going to contest big time here. Oh. Terror is fearless, by the way. Like every time he burrow charges in completely.
Yeah, I think maybe they should have done this before. There goes the Maw. Raven, the actual... Looks like Furnace Blast is actually going to get onto Shadowmare there. And he will be able to eliminate him. So they did big AoE damage off the back of that fight. Initially, it wasn't looking too great for them, but they were able to get a very, very strong pursuit down, getting themselves Illidan as well off that burrow, and the big damage coming in. So there you can see the Ultimate Evolution onto the Butcher can be very, very powerful with the two Butchers rampaging.
Sniping the entire backline like this in the start of the fight means that they could go straight for the Illidan and take him out. And all of a sudden, we got level 12 against level 10. And from there, I'm pretty sure that Puszek, they're going to be trying to fight as much as possible, being one talent up pretty much all the time. They've got so much momentum and map control here. Look at his temples come up. I think they're definitely going to be very comfortable with looking for a fight here.
I definitely think so now, yeah. They're looking very, very good. And it's going to be difficult for ROCCAT to really sustain through this. I mean, once that level 13 hits, these temples are going to be very annoying for them. And as much as they do have sanctification of all things, and I still think they may have a hard time, because sanctification is not going to last very long. It's good for temple fights, but if your opponents bait it out...
The thing is, I think they want to defend against the double Butcher coming in with this.
Yes, maybe.
And if somehow they can, you know, really dodge it for once and avoid taking too much damage, they might be able to swing a fight in their favor. But look at this. Closing in very quickly here. For level 13, Team Puszek, I think they're just waiting for it.
And Nazeebo has a lot of power down towards the bottom temple.
13.
And they do have that level 13. Double Burning Rage has been taken. Here comes the Maw, though, and looks like Zagara will actually take a lot of damage. Ancestral Heal hits her, though, so she is able to stay alive. A lot of AoE damage being done, but Zagara's still going to end up going down, as Sports Billy is also under threat. So is Socket. He has to Eldruin's Might out of there. Ubereem with the Ultimate Evolution. Butcher is going to pick up the Nazeebo, and a charge goes down onto Tyrael here. Should be able to pick him up. They got Illidan in the backlines, and a big, almost full team wipe goes in favor of Puszek team.
The Malfurion, man. Did you see that? He was in the middle of 4 heroes just healing them with the Tranquility. That was... It really feels like their composition was basically made for this map, like custom made.
Yeah.
They're able to do so well with it. I guess being one talent up definitely helped, but this Malf was the happiest Malf of all time. He was healing 4 of his friends 4 of his teammates' heroes, and he did so much in that fight.
I mean, we mentioned it during the draft. They really dictated that draft. It looked really good for them, and you can already see it here. Not only that, but the decision-making is looking good as well. Waiting for the double, even just waiting for the double Burning Rage alone to come in, adds massive, massive damage to that fight alone, because they're so clumped up in those temple spaces. So they are running away with this at the moment, Todd.
Yeah, doing great. The Butcher is going to get
Nope.
got a little bit too excited there. Right now, Puszek, they know that the boss has to be defended at the bottom, so they're going to take their time before going straight for the temple at top. They're not only going to get a 4, they're even going to steal that camp. I mean, why not?
Yeah, that's beautiful as well. Not having to go to the temple this early, getting a fort before it so that those shots are eventually going to start working on keeps. Brilliant, brilliant decision-making here by Puszek team.
TL is getting really, really close. Almost looked like they wanted to force a fight here for a second ROCCAT. They're just going to secure their own level 13 here. They're equal on talents here. For a very short time, they actually are. So they might try to go and force a fight. But look at this. Level 16 is closing in very quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Abathur is soaking in 2 places.
Exactly. Soaking down towards the bottom as well as probably the middle with his body.
They're trying to eject.
There you go. There's level 16. The charge comes in again as we see the Gargantuan trying to help on out. The Moore actually catches 2 members. And the Eldragoon's Might for Socket goes in, trying to get onto Goterra. But we see also the Condemn grouping them up very, very heavily. The Socket and Hasuobs are going to melt away there under the pressure. Uberin once again with Ultimate Evolution chasing down onto Sports Billy, and Sports Billy is going to have a bit of a difficult time getting out. He cleanses himself as well as Ancestral Healing, but there comes another stun. More hamstrings onto him. He manages to get away though. Good save by Sports Billy, but in the end they still take big damage.
I think TRL didn't even have time to use Sanctification there.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
Died.
Very difficult.
He tried to kind of jump in and help a little bit with the Nazeebo, but in the end, another completely overpowering fight here. 10 kills to 1.
Pretty brutal stuff at the moment. As I say, Puszek team, man, they have been looking really, really good as of late. They looked great in Series 1 of the Major League here in Season 3 against Nihilum, and now here, at the moment, against the first place finishers in the league last season. They are looking on point. They were looking good in the draft. They're looking good here in game number 1 as well. They have had full control of this game so far, and unfortunately for ROCCAT, they can't steal the momentum away. They need to find a game-defining move for them on their side to really spin away against this kind of experience lead that we're seeing here from Puszek team. They're also taking the easy camps. They had the temple just finish up and do a lot of damage to these buildings. Thankfully, little Mule here will be able to save this small little healing fountain. Good job. Good job.
It's all in the details, Skylarks, isn't it?
Yes, of course. Technically, that'll soak up a few more shots.
As good as they've, been managing this game so far, and I mean, they're 3 levels ahead, still no keep down. So there is still hope, As long as you've got 3 keeps, all you need is one good fight, one pick off somewhere, and you're going to be able to do well. But I don't think that here the Polish team, they have any plan of giving away any kills. They're just going to keep on pushing together, doing the job. Yeah. I think they're going a little bit far. They don't really have to commit to a fight here, even though they're 1 talent up. Like, going this far, a lot of the time is going to give a chance for the opponents to try and get an as good fight as possible.
There's definitely something that we need to point out about the talent choices over at Team ROCCAT is that they actually went into Shadow Wolf and Feral Lunge over Feral Heart and then also Healing Surge. So right now, Rhaegar's healing numbers aren't looking spectacular because he has a little bit of power taken away from that, right? That could have been a defining factor in maybe some of the later fights now, but at the moment, they still, like, a Healing Surge isn't going to make the difference in some of these fights, right? So they need to accommodate for this going forward.
You think that's the reasoning behind it? You don't think that Soke went like, well, he's already going so bad, I might as well go Hero League style?
No, probably not. Well, looks like they're going to push on up towards the top.
It's now or never. Like, if they wait for a whole level here to be gained from Puszek, it's going to be level 20, and then it slides out a lot of the time. So I think trying to actually go for a fight here from ROCCAT definitely would make sense, but I'm still waiting to see for Sanctification to actually do something. Yeah,
they need to force a fight on a temple and then isolate the fight on a temple, but it's very difficult to. Puszek team can easily just walk away to another temple. They've got a massive advantage at the moment, so they somehow need to force a fight and keep it there, but it's very difficult in this situation.
Yeah, using the Enter Killer on Johanna here, not a big fan of that. You're not going to take too much damage. Terror is always at the front. He's totally fearless. Avatar's ready to help here, even though he's not there just yet.
Doing okay for themselves. They take a little bit of damage on the Johanna, but she'll be healed up quickly by the fact that Malfurion has plenty of heal available to him, even though he's taken Shrink Ray over the idea of Life Seed, and then also not Enduring Growth, because Cleanse is quite useful
Don't
in
you
these
think
situations.
Illidan should have gone for Giant Killer rather than Sixth Sense? With all his tanks.
Perhaps. Oh, there's a great route there from Malfurion. This might force the engagement. That Ancestral Healing was very, very early to the point where they're actually going to charge on in. The Web Wrap hits the charge target, though, so a little bit of miscommunication there from Puszek team, but they're going to do a big, big chunk of damage there to Zagara as well. Another route's able to lock them down. So much AoE damage. There's not enough healing coming out from Sports Billy at all to be able to survive that, and level 20 is hit as well. They get talented in, and they're going to be able to bring down Rhaegar finally. It's 4-for-0 wipe once again with the charge onto Tyrael. He has to Elder Rune's Might away, but he's very, very close to Death Hamstring. Oh, good stuff by Puszek.
The healing from Malfurion has been ridiculous. For almost 40,000 healing to Rhaegar's 22,000. And in terms of tanking, like you just look at his numbers on Puszek actually. 40,000 healing and then 44,000 and 39,000 in tank. Like these three heroes alone, they basically made the rest of their team basically, I guess, untouchable and free to do anything they wanted, and that was enough for them to win the game. Very clean game. I guess Terror died one time, which not the end of the world.
One death, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. They looked solid there. They looked solid. And you know, I mean, going into those later fights, I feel that the game had snowballed kind of out of their control for ROCCAT there even before the 13 mark. But when 13 mark comes along and you're going for, or at least I believe, when you're going for the Feral Lunge and then also the Earth Grasp Totem later on over Healing Surge and then Tidal Wave, you just don't have the healing to be able to sustain that kind of AoE damage that they're being able to do. It's very, very tough as a Rhaegar, I feel there.
I really like how Malfurion played it. He didn't use Tranquility too early. He waited until, you know, some of his guys had taken a little bit of damage, used it, got right in the middle, which sounds easy like that, but he was definitely, you know, always in a good position, never too far forward. Nobody caught for the entire game. You know, that's one of the ways that you can throw away this kind of game, even though you're very far ahead. So Puszek very well synchronized, and you can tell these guys, you know, they speak the same language. They're talking with audio clearly, like pretty much every team out there, and they've done very well for themselves here in this first map. All
right, well, we are going to go to a short break, ladies and gentlemen, and when we are back, we're going to have game number 2 here between Puszek team and Team ROCCAT. Rip-roaring start here for Team Puszek in this first best of 3 today in the ESL Major League for Heroes of the Storm. As unfortunately, Team ROCCAT loses the first game. They'll be blasting off again if they don't make it up for it here in game number 2. Let's jump right into the draft, Todd, to figure out exactly what's going to go down. And an Abatha ban comes out of ROCCAT. That's one of those bans where you're like, we probably don't want to deal with that again.
Yeah, the thing is, Puszek first picked it in the previous map, and now we're on Cursed Hollow, definitely the best map by far here for Abatha. So banning it, I mean, totally makes sense. And then Zeratul being banned, again, one of these standard most banned heroes.
Yeah.
Jaina first pick, we've seen that a lot as of late.
Yes, we have. I think she is undoubtedly the most picked first hero, aside from if she's going to be banned, right?
The most popular.
She's very popular, very popular.
Both in bans and picks.
Yeah. So generally, if we go over the most banned and picked heroes at the moment in Europe, I would say Jaina, Zeratul, Joanna, with Abatha probably now trailing at 4th place at the moment. Would you agree?
Yeah, Kael'thas sometimes too.
Sometimes, yeah.
I guess, yeah. I think so. Zagara, like, it depends on teams also, you know.
Yeah.
Like, overall, yeah, probably. But then, you know, there's some teams that when they play each other, they know that, you know, the other team loves their Zagara. So they're going to try to kind of shut it down away from them.
Yeah, there's definitely those choice picks, like Zagara, as you're mentioning. Uther can sometimes even come into the fray as well if you don't want to deal with Divine Shield and the annoyance that causes with also the potential of Cleanse being there. But now Cleanse is a bit more, you know, popular in the meta because everyone has it. So it's lovely to see that has come along and really helped out a lot of different and diverse healer compositions.
Do you think we're going to see a lot of Leoric when it's finally allowed?
That is a tough question because right now maybe two tank compositions. There is a slight bug in the draft system at the moment, guys, as you can see. 35 seconds in the bonus time pool. But that should be 90 seconds. Hopefully that organizes itself once things get going. So Zagara is the first pick here for Puszek team. Also a very good choice. I mean, you know, controlling vision and having that control in the maw later on.
Yeah. Didn't really do much for ROCCAT last game, to be honest. Like, the mouse weren't the worst, but there was just really not much he could achieve with the composition that they were facing. It felt like it wasn't your typical comp. So even though, you know, 2 heroes in there, sometimes even 3 got mods, they just came out of it. They were in tranquility. They didn't care. They got right back in the fight, you know. Yeah. They even like angered up while they were in the maw, maybe.
And that's the thing. Whilst they were in the maw, I mean, for the most part, it was Joanna and Anubarak that were out of it. So who are you really going to focus down in that situation? Who can you really deal with? Not too many good targets. So they weren't able to isolate a damage dealer. The only real one was the Butcher up until the point where, you know, Ultimate Evolution comes in, so it really limits how many targets you've got to deal with at that point. But ROCCAT's going to pick up the Uther to start. What do you make of this, Todd?
They might want to run an Illidan comp again, but I mean, Uther's just good in general, no matter what.
Yep.
So I don't think we need to deduce anything out of it just yet. You know, he's going to have Cleanse to walk against the Tyrande.
Do you think they could have taken it because of Puszek team's choices, for example, as well?
If they went for Butcher and Uther as well after that, like, you're in trouble. So somebody that picks Tyrande already, like, this early in the draft, I don't think you can leave them all the lockdown in the world. So you kind of need to pick some away, you know, like stealing the Uther is good. I don't think they have to go for something like an healer. Then they actually go for double healer here. Whoa. Interesting.
Well, I know what their ban's going to be. We will be seeing a Rehgar ban, I believe, from Team ROCCAT. But the thing is that Puszek team already has a Tyrande, which makes this very interesting because having Overflowing Light at level 13 gives her a lot of healing momentum. Yeah. So technically, whichever healer they actually get left with, I think Puszek team should be okay here because they already have the Tyrande to hand.
I mean, if they go for Lily, you know, it's with how well their Malf did last game, even though, you know, it was really catered to support their comp. Yeah, I think they're going to be quite okay. Yeah. They might go for the double specialist, Tassara Tyrande, but I don't think so. Like, on this map, you know, maybe if there was like a Nova or Zeratul, it'd be more encouraging. Probably not right now. They do need another hero, though, I think, or like something that will help, because if they don't get one, it's going to be pretty tough. Yeah,
Tyrande alone will be a sad panda. She will not be having much happy times at all. Yeah, Overflowing Light's good at level 13, but not that good. So, ROCCAT, we're expecting the Rehgar ban to come out here from them. Muradin was banned by Puszek team, and there is that Rehgar. So, Do they go eventually? What do you think these next 2 picks are, Todd, coming up?
I think they don't have to go for a healer now because ROCCAT, there is no way they're going to pick a Lily as last. Otherwise, they have no damage. They're going to have all the heal in the world. I mean, they can play Twilight Dream, Divine Storm, and they can do the damage ultimates, but I don't think it'd be any good. So they can save their healer for later and get something. Maybe the Butcher. Play the Butcher with Tyrande as a roam. And Nubarak is going to be one of the solid picks that they can go for. Like, still one of the very strong heroes that is left in the draft. Kael'thas is still available as a damage dealer. There's Vala. So they actually go for Johanna, which makes a lot of sense. You mentioned it's one of the banned heroes. And as much as I mentioned Kael'thas as well, it's true that Johanna is one of the very good heroes that could be picked there that was left.
I think it's good for them to take Johanna here. ROCCAT, obviously, they really want to tank right now. Johanna is undoubtedly one of the very best tanks in the game at the moment. Thankfully, though, because the way the game's played out, they haven't really banned too much away. Zocca wouldn't have minded a Muradin, I feel. So banning that was, kind of playing down that path because they've already got a lot of healing. They've got a bit of their damage. Ban a tank away from ROCCAT here. And then finally, I actually think Butcher would be a good pickup, to be honest.
And then they close it out with Lily.
They could even go Brightwing, but...
No.
Well, the thing is...
Nobody goes Brightwing.
Well. But we'll see. We'll see. I think Butcher here will be a good choice. It's brutal. It's absolutely devastating, or can be devastating with Tyrande. But, of course, this composition, if they go Butcher, they've got to be a little bit more careful.
I don't think it's that good against this comp, to be honest. Like, there's going to be double healer, Cleanse, Divine Shield. They go Kael'thas. Even though there's quite a bit of healing against them.
Okay.
I feel like trying to combo their Tyrande with something else would have been nice, but I guess they banned Muradin themselves, which was actually weird.
I think it's actually a pretty good combo, personally. Tyrande, Kael'thas. With the Lunar Blaze that you take at level 7, and then into locking someone down and then having Flamethrower later on and being able to land those Flame Strikes a little bit easier, I think it can work out really well.
Even delaying those tributes, actually, on this map is going to be very important. So
a lot of long range available here to Puszek team, be it even just Banelings rolling in, now that I think about it.
Everything, pretty much. Every spell, Kael'thas.
Yeah,
even Johanna.
Actually, yeah. Shield Glare. Go for it. It's the full poke. Right now, they really do have the full poke against ROCCAT, who... I mean, what do they go for? They've got double healer, they've got Jaina. They need a tank.
Yeah, they need a tank no matter what. And then maybe something like, I don't know if an Illidan.
Maybe.
I think Illidan would be sick here, to be honest.
It'd have a lot of room.
We've seen Team Liquid play double hero comp with an Illidan before and do really well for themselves. He was pretty much immortal.
Yeah, and he would still be probably in this situation. The only thing he'd have to be careful about is avoiding the Lunar Flare when he's Hunter marked, because if that happens, he is mincemeat. He is going to be roasted.
Minced meat.
Mincemeat, man. Totally mincemeat. He'll be shredded. Those little Hydralisks, they won't give him any room. He'll just yum, 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 yum. Just like that. Well, Anubarak will be their tank. And Volstad.
Okay, so some good damage with, I guess, to reinforce here the Jaina that they have in the backline. Interesting. So single tank Anubarak with double healer, and then Jaina Volstad behind it.
So
they have, I guess, some good sustainability, some decent damage. Like, it feels like they can do a little bit of everything, but nothing too great. Other than, I guess, healing. They're going to be pretty good at healing and, being sustainable.
A Volstad can be really, happy with having double healer, because he is quite squishy, so,
The thing is, the single target fire from Puszek is already going to be sick with the Tyrande.
Yes, I totally agree.
Do they have to go for Lily now? That's it. I guess, yes.
Yes, they will. Wow. Okay. All right, well, Lily will round out the composition. I still feel that there is, some validity to Brightwing even in these situations, but especially
That's why we're casting Kael'thas.
Well, at level 13 and then level 16, you get yourself Shield Dust and then Bounty Dust, so that you're applying a lot of spell shields to your allies, and thus it makes something like a
but you need to actually heal.
You can do that as well, but you're negating a lot of damage. That's the thing. And using
But
Peekaboo
you need to actually heal.
All right, okay, never mind then. Okay, so let's get into our second game. Cursed Hollow will be the next map, as we were mentioning. If we need it later on, we will have Garden of Terror in this best of 3 as well. So there is the potential that we could go there. Team ROCCAT, though, pulling out a double healer composition means that this is one of their, like, pocket strategies almost.
You think so? You don't think they're freestyling?
No, I would say that they kind of found a good spot of room here after seeing the initial 2 picks of their opponents, because picking the 2 healers at that point, it's like, well, we have a great opportunity here to try and tie up the series. You don't want to be going down the second series after doing so well in the first week here in the Major League. So they could do it with this.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
It's going to be nice. I like to see, this kind of comp that I don't know very well with like a double hitter, because I always wonder how well it's going to be able to do. And I guess it's also, it really depends on the team that's trying it. We've seen some teams make it look kind of bad, and some other teams like Team Liquid playing double hero and making it look like unbeatable, at times. Then again, pretty much anything they do looks unbeatable.
Well, that's the thing, though. If you cast your mind back to maybe even last patch, Team ROCCAT was actually one of the teams that did a lot of double healer compositions. And they did have great success with it to the point where they actually got first place here in Major League Season 2. So they do have a lot of comfort with this. And it may pay off, may not. Right now, I still like Puszek team's composition a lot.
That was already with their new lineup, right, as well?
Yes, it was.
ROCCAT.
Yes, it was. So, as I said, they've got a lot of flex players.
They have Shadowmare, who used to be a support, but now does a lot of assassin work himself, which sounds kind of funny when you say it like that.
Assassin work?
Yeah.
He's the hitman.
I used to be a support, but now I do assassin work when I have some time. I freelance a little bit. They have Sports Billy, who's pretty much their permanent support, I think. Supports almost every single game. And I think Azuops can play a few heroes like Malf. I've seen him on Malf sometimes. Soccer definitely can support.
Yep.
Soccer is a tank/bruiser, only he doesn't flex too much.
No. He sticks around on that tank and does what he needs to do. But it's very rare they're ever going to play without a tank, right? So it's all good. It's all good.
That meta hasn't reached us yet.
No.
Someday, maybe.
We've had 1 or 2 games, but very
Tier
rarely.
only 4 assassins.
Just blow someone up instantly. It actually could potentially work. But then you'd all
unless
melt
the
away.
opponents do a draft.
Yeah, all right. Right, let's get into it then. Game number 2, as we have Puszek team going up against Team ROCCAT here in the Major League. And to the left-hand side, it will be Puszek team, up currently 1-0 in this best of 3, with Uberim spawning in as Zagara. Rzuf going to be playing himself the Lili. Gotero will be playing Johanna. Kreku will be playing Kel'Thas. And finally, Puszek will be playing on Tyrande. Then to the right-hand side, we have Team ROCCAT, as we have Zocca playing Anubarak, Shadowmare playing Malfurion, Sports Billy will be playing Uther, Chris will be on Jaina, and finally, Hasu Obs will be playing the Falstad.
I'm so happy when I see Kel'Thas picking Mana Addict, because I'm pretty sure he's going to go gathering power and, try to get these stacks and just, as they say, and as I make the same joke every time, some men just want to see the world burn.
Well, they do, especially Kel'Thas, and after the Sunwell, I can understand why. That's not exactly the best of ways. And yes, that was role-playing, sorry, Todd. But anyway, personally, I'm not a big fan of Gathering Power anymore, especially against really good teams. I think Netherwind is the better and safer option, because unless you are totally confident that you are not going to be dying against your opponents, oftentimes doesn't really lead to anything.
Yeah, but the thing is, all you need is one good fight, and then you finally got it. So
true.
What happens to me is that I feel all games, and then we finally win one fight, and then I'm really good. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding, man. You've seen my games. I die all the time with Kel'Thas, and then we finally have one good fight, and I'm like, hell yeah, it's not been in vain.
Whoa, that was a significantly missed Lunar Flare there from Puszek, but I'm sure he'll be able to hit a few more later on. Let's take a quick look over these. It's going to be Moonburn here for Shadowmare, so I think he can definitely get away with that over, say, something like Shadow's Clarity or even Scouting Drone, as long as they're playing defensively.
Yeah.
Just clear those waves and get elsewhere. It's always good.
Falstad Uther top. They're shutting down Zagara pretty nicely, to be honest. Even removing those Crypt Tumors, making sure she can't really get any pushing in.
Doing good. Doing good. And when you go up against a Puszek team, that's certainly what you want to deny, the push. As we have this triple lane down toward the bottom, just holding on.
She's ready, man.
Whereabouts is she? She's in the bushes waiting. Okay.
Yeah. She was spotted, so Jaina being very careful. Chris, he has to be very patient here. One misstep and he's dead. Ooh, actually went forward here for a second.
Likewise, Zagara still being careful up towards the top as well. If Sports Billy hits himself a stun on Uberim, he could melt away 2 Hasselhoffs, but not really giving them too much of an opportunity. Good creep tumor placement behind enemy that actually leave the wall to make sure he's not going to lose it.
It's going to be very interesting here if the first tribute spawns at the bottom, because there's already 6 heroes down there. We do see Tyrande actually rotating around mids.
Yeah, looking for a Lunar Flare perhaps. Oh, even, yeah, they just change up for Soak. Good choice.
Interesting. Terror's going to try to catch the Falstad here, do a little bit of damage to him. First tribute is due to appear here real soon. It's going to be very interesting to see how much both teams commit to it.
So what do you make of this rotation? I think it's a good one personally, because now Joanna can hold her own for a little bit and delay these out, as opposed to Zagara, who really wants to be pushing, right?
Yeah, it's pretty nice to see how well they've adjusted to this year. You know, the laning phase wasn't going so well. They're like, well, we're not going to stay like this. Let's change things up. Zaga out of position.
Oh, and that route is brilliant there. That's going to guarantee the kill onto Uberim to start things off. Puszek as well in the back lines of all of this. He gets caught way out of spot, and that is a 2 for 0 here for Team ROCCAT, even getting themselves the tribute.
After dominating the first game, that was really bad. They died more here in 3 minutes of game than they did in the entire previous map.
And still,
that was really bad.
I don't think people are still that used to the roots hitting them for as far as they can. Elun's Grace at level 4 is super powerful on Malfurion at the moment. And obviously in the previous meta, it wasn't. So, because it didn't even really exist properly in terms of talent choice, as it were. So, it's very, very powerful.
Gathering power.
Well, there we go. So they're really looking to... But at the same time, gathering power for Falstad on the other side. So one of these teams is going to be a sad panda later on.
Oh, maybe they both die all the time.
Just never gather it up. Also, just in case you are unfamiliar here with Cursed Hollow, it's very important to start gathering the tributes to be able to curse your opponent's team. Tributes spawn in the middle, in between the lanes, and once you get 3, your opponent's minions only go down to 1 health, and also your opponent's towers cannot shoot for a small period of time. So it is quite brutal. The lanes do get pushed quite significantly.
They're missing 1 support here, ROCCAT, with Malf staying at the bottom to soak. That means... yeah, the entire full rotation from both teams is happening. But look at this, Kalthas is going to be there much earlier than Malf, so if they actually went for the fight here, Team Puszek, they might be able to do really well.
And they're going to try and charge on in here. Zokke will burrow charge out of there, but at the same time, they catch themselves a Jaina. That's all the power taken away here from Team ROCCAT. That will mean a tribute going over to them. And Todd, what are you making of the Lili build right now?
He lost his mind? No. I guess... going Serpent build when there is also Tyrande to help and heal, I guess he's okay because he's still going to do a pretty okay job of healing himself, so, or herself in this case. And it's funny, by the way, like that fight that just happened, I feel like it's just because they got all the poke in the world that you can't wait against Team Puszek. You have to kind of go for the fight like they're doing right now.
Yeah, exactly. Getting the roots there onto Zagara as well as that Blizzard coming on in. Razuf does not have enough healing to deal with that.
Clutch escape here.
Sports Billy. Sports Billy. Okay, Condemn into the Flame Strike. Will pick up that kill. Kreku might actually die, but Falstad knows that he has to get out there barrel roll. Otherwise, it would have been a 2 for 1 compared to just... compared to just the actually 1 for 0.
Yeah, level 10 is going to most likely be gained earlier here for Team Puszek.
Yeah.
Doing a pretty good job for themselves. And look at this, ROCCAT closing in. Yes, they were missing a few minions here for a second. 3 kills to 2, so they started the game with that first tribute in the most awful of ways, but kind of came back in it.
Yeah. And just
Falstad was going to portal back home and then, I guess, use flights to go to that tribute, but he cancelled.
Yeah, sticking around and just soaking up some experience. Now seeing that...
he's going to try to slow Tyrande.
He sees that he's trying to move up towards here, so he knows he could potentially leave lane if he wants, but he knows that also soak is important here, Todd.
Yeah, they can slow this down forever. This is ridiculous. They have 4 heroes that can slow this down. Yeah. Falstad staying at the bottom, by the way. They already know that they're not going to be getting the tribute here.
Yeah.
ROCCAT.
And Puszek as well as Kreku were in a good position to soak mid as well as aid in this fight, whereas unfortunately Team ROCCAT doesn't have that luxury at the moment. There's level 10, they push them away, and that is going to be an easy tribute once again for them. They'll be a
He's going to fly in without 10! Oh my god, if a fight is forced
soak it in mid and try and go somehow. He's got to stick around in mid for just a moment.
Okay, both teams going to be on 10. Okay, we're going to see the fight here, I think. I don't think you can really disengage. You have to fight, and whoever wins is going to get the tribute.
Tries to go for the roots in the back lines. Everyone avoids it. Kreku doesn't get locked down. Neither does Puszek. It looks like Uberim's going to zone out Volstad, who has to go around. He actually did a lot of damage to him with Hunter Killers.
Yeah. All the ultimates are up except Phoenix here, which is going to reload in about 10 seconds.
And will they go in before that? Looks like they will with the root. Here comes the Hinterlands Blast. Oh my god, but they're able to deny it. Just barely there. And Zuff actually going to be able to move on out. So it looks like Chris locking them in, and they get Chris during it. They get Chris during it. Fantastic stuff there for them to be able to deal with all of that. I can't believe how well he was able to deny Hinterland's Blast.
ROCCAT actually, they got the tribute during all this time. The Ma went down. I think it was maybe Sports Billy. He was like, hey, I guess I can get that, right? Just kind of captured it in front of everybody. Nobody was paying attention because everybody was looking at the fight. And Hinterland Blast, that was crazy, man.
The interrupt onto that Hinterland's Blast was brilliant there. I believe it must have been Blast Shield or Lunar Flare. I can't quite recall just looking at all of that. There's a lot to pay attention
though, right?
Yes, he still has it off cooldown.
It's funny.
So never really had a chance, man. Once you get the interrupt on it, it's down for 10 seconds, and that can be enough time for you to kill a Jaina, get some more damage done.
I think that's going to be a good lesson for Fasta to try and stay a little bit more back so that it doesn't get interrupted next time, because I think that was a kill on Tyrande, though, if he was gone off.
Yeah, it could have been a kill on 2, actually. It could have been a kill on 2 with how things were lining up, so it was perfectly timed out here by Puszek team to deny. And now they are looking pretty good at the moment. If we run down the level 10 talents that we have Devouring Maw, Jug of 1,000 Cups, Blessed Shield, Phoenix as well as Starfall, and then to the other side, Web Blast, Tranquility, Divine Shield, Summon Water Elemental, and finally the interrupted Hinterlands Blast.
Both teams going to start rotating towards the bottom. I think Puszek might just give this one up. They already... No, wait. They can't. It's 2 right now for ROCCAT. I thought they were the one with 2, so
gotta fight it.
They have to go down. But look at how Kalthas is late. It's the second time. The last time that this happened.
And they can still delay with some of these, but actually it looks like ROCCAT are going to force the fight here. They know the positioning of their opponents, get a lot of damage on towards the Johanna there. But here comes Kalthas as well as Zagara.
Oh, they got an easy camp pushing at the top here, so the more time they can buy, the better it's going to be for them.
Yeah, I mean, even just delay this, it'd be very, very good for them. There goes the Water Elemental, though, into the Hinterlands Blast. It hits 2 or 3, actually, as well. More goes down, though, in the back lines. They've done a lot of damage there to Hasuop. Zocca, likewise, almost dies off to the Living Bomb, but he doesn't manage to kill him off. Johanna's at the front, chasing down with the Condemn, and there is the Jug of 1,000 Cups actually able to heal up Gotera as well as Puszek on the front lines.
He cancelled it here very nicely from afar. Falstad. They're getting back in there. I think they're overextending it a little bit. If you look at the hit points at the top.
There's the root. There's the root. Can they capitalize off of all of this? Johanna is at the front lines. They're trying to kill off Rezuff, but Volstad's going to actually try and loop around, gets himself out of position, will be killed off by the entire backline there of Puszek team. I can't help but feel that Volstad went a little bit too far.
Yeah, I think they should have given this one up when they lost this much hit points here. Re-engaging wasn't going to be a smart decision ever. And now look at this. They're still trying. They're gonna die if they stay here for too long, I think. Even though Fastad can fly back in, they're down 1 talent.
Oh, and that Blasted Shield did a lot of work there, actually locking him down. The Divine Shield saving Soccer will be able to keep them all alive for now, but mentioned before by you, this easy camp up towards the top, Todd. Look at it, how much damage it's done to that fort.
That shrink raid, Anubarak, by the way, was the cutest thing. It was so fast.
Yeah. Little guy doing what he can, and apparently not too much, unfortunately, for him. But this is a great timing to go for the boss, because now I think they could potentially get up. Nah, it's going to be very, very tight to get up towards the other boss, actually, now that I look at it.
Yeah, I think at Tyrande themselves, I thought they might be able to do this faster, but they took quite a bit of time. Kalthas has to go get some mana anyway, because even though he went for Mana Addict, he's been spamming a lot of his spells in the previous fight, and now it's going to be time to set up for the potentially the most important fight here of the game. The one for the 3rd tribute, which is going to decide who first gets the curse here in this game. That boss at the bottom, by the way. Pretty happy chap. Yeah,
both teams were in an alright spot to actually follow it up, especially since the tribute spawned up towards the top.
Uberim TP's back home because he has no mana, so he's going to be super late to this.
They've got to lay it down again. And thankfully, as you said, well, as we point out at the beginning of this game, they've got a lot of poke.
Yeah.
So they can deny the boss.
Kalthas is on the other side. This might just be captured. Oh my god.
Shield Glare. Shield Glare goes in, denies it. How much more? There's the Roaches being landed down. There's the Flame Strike as well. The poke continues here from Puszek team into the Lunar Flare, onto him, but good cleanse will be able to keep Anubarak alive.
They got so much poke. This is ridiculous.
Boss is still going ham, man. Boss up to the top, boss down to the bottom.
Both of them.
Still, the poke will continue, though. ROCCAT needs to force a fight. I think they need to do something. There's the shield, though. Actually flies on in. Divine Shield, though, onto Anubarak now. And they're actually doing a lot of damage here to Puszek. They dive on in with a Burrow Charge. Web Blast on towards the back line here. Krako actually stood in the Blizzard, but they save out Rizov. And they've already done a lot of AoE damage. They were fighting in the Phoenix during all of that, causing them so much AoE damage. Anubarak will fall, and they even get the Jaina as well. Good stuff there. Once again by Puszek team.
Yeah, some very good stuns being landed pretty much every single time. They go for the same targets. They take people down very, very quickly.
And with the curse, the boss is doing even more damage. You would have technically have been cleaned up by the keep, but now it goes down to almost half health before they even get there.
Yeah, they've lost one single fort so far, and they've killed quite a few. 2, right? Yeah, 2.
It's doing really well. Once again, Puszek team is looking on point here, Todd. Coming into this series, you know, a lot of people would have probably said, well, you know, ROCCAT, first place in the league stage in Season 2. They managed to get to DreamHack, but Puszek team looked absolutely on point in drafts. Against, you know, they were forced into their healer, but they make it work. They make it work.
Yeah, they don't seem to really care too much. They're maybe even happy to have Lily here there. It's funny because, like, they're one of the up-and-coming teams that, you know, you don't know how far they are going to go, but you kind of think that when they play, you know, one of the fans' favorite, like ROCCAT, they're not going to be able to do this well. But so far in this series, they've been very impressive.
When I see them play, I just feel that, you know, sponsorship is on the horizon for them at the moment. They play really, really solidly here in the Major League. Currently, they are in a 1-0 position in the league, and it's looking like it's going to be a 2-0. Unless ROCCAT is able to do something, the Phoenix is going to poke away for a while. Likewise, the entire composition here from Puszek team, full poke, full kill off on this keep. They can't deny it.
That's the level 16 Kael'thas here, having some fun.
Oh. Actually, does he have stacks of Gathering Power? He has 5 stacks of Gathering Power, so
of course.
Brutal stuff to deal with at the moment. Whereas Falstad, what are we seeing on the other side? How is he doing in his stacks?
Probably not very good.
No, not even a single stack, man. Very, very difficult to really deal with.
All I saw from Falstad in these fights was feathers exploding and going in different directions. Skylars. That sounded like a chicken, not like some... Okay.
It's Pepe, man. He's a giant Pepe. Poor little bird. All right, well, at least they've hit level 16 now. This is where they can try and gather some momentum back, and they have a 2-level window where, yeah, the talents are even, but of course, Puszek team still has a little bit of an advantage.
Anubarak actually waiting to pick his talent there. Both Falstad and Anubarak waiting to pick their level 16 talent here for quite a bit of time.
Overdrive, so those Hinterlands Blasts, they're going to hit hard, man, but nowhere near as hard as if he had the Gathering Power stacks. So this is still going to be difficult here for Team ROCCAT.
They want that keep. They really want that keep down there. They know it's about half hit points. And even though they're not one talent up, even to be honest, even if they go there and die, they're still going to be okay. Actually, if the tribute comes up soon, and it should, and they die here, and then ROCCAT gets the tribute, they kind of come back in experience, I think, and get maybe 2 forts, and maybe even 2 bosses, so they better be damn sure they're going to win this fight. But look, they're just using their poke. They're basically saying, we got a better poke, we're going to spam that from afar, you're going to engage into us and get owned, or you're going to sit back and get owned.
Oh, the Hinterlands Blast hits 3, but I still don't think they can really follow up on it. GoTerra is just going to go away. There's the Burrow Charge forward, but still, if the turnaround comes, especially with that Maw, so they've got to be very careful. Starfall was doing some damage into the Divine Shield with that, so the Ice Block as well, but Zocca at the front here. He has no more Divine Shield available to him. The Web Blast onto Rizov, but and when he comes out here, he's still, well, he doesn't have Jug of 1,000 Cups. I think he actually interrupted with the Web Blast, which was really good there from Anubarak. At the same time, though, there's still big poke potential here. GoTerra has taken a lot of damage, but now Falstad on the back foot. Gonna have to retreat on out of there.
That keep is dead. They have to go back. They have to go heal the tributes up either way. I'm actually surprised Falstad's not flying there and trying to get it. He dies!
Oh my god. Oh,
he could have flown there and secured it very easily.
They just didn't have the sustain compared to what we were seeing here from the Lili as well as the Tyrande. If
the feathers, man.
The feathers. It's the Bakark all over again. He is dead. And look, I mean, even the extra numbers here from Tyrande alone with Overflowing Light, really helping them out. They're going to go for boss over the tribute. Beautiful play here by Puszek team.
Yeah, I really like the choice of not rushing for the tribute. They don't really care about it just yet. They can slow it down. Remember, they got all the poke in the world. They got Tyrande. So they're just going to go straight for the boss, steal it. get a tribute, and maybe even bait somebody to try and steal it.
Oh, Sports Billy shouldn't have walked into vision of
Oh
these
my
creep
gosh.
tumors. That is a dead Uther. A little bit of a catastrophe there. You cannot walk that far onto that creep and show yourself when they're just doing this boss. That's, I mean, where else were they going to be at that point?
Maybe doing their small camps? Okay, maybe not.
Oh, you.
It's funny, actually, instead of going for the push with the boss here, which I think it could have been okay, they're just going to go for their own boss and maybe try and finish the game, I guess, at the bottom. Maybe, you know, grab the easy camp on the way, fully knowing that there's quite a few camps up on the map. Because remember, like, all it takes here, being having 2 tributes, is for ROCCAT to win one single fight. And then they get that tribute, they get the curse. Oh, I'm so surprised that Fasta didn't fly to the tribute and get it.
It was a bit of a shame. Maybe he was gearing up for it as he died off in a pretty, like, weird position, actually.
Fly? No.
Got to do something, man. Got to do something. And now with level 20 here, I mean, I feel that getting this boss would have been the smarter choice here from Puszek team, because you know they don't want to leave a window later on just in case the turnaround does come along for then that boss to be taken, right? So it's covering all your bases here as Puszek team.
Oh, Saga gets caught here a little bit. Gonna blink away.
Blinks out.
Dodges the internet blast.
Very good stuff. Although the Starfall and the Phoenix aren't really doing a huge amount of damage here to the full team. They were used in the vicinity of Puszek team more so than ROCCAT. There's the Divine Shield on towards the Jaina as well. Zucker actually tries to drop the Web Blast at the back, but they've got to do something. The boss is on core at the moment, and if Puszek team are able to get just 1 kill from this position, they will snowball it. And also, they need to be able to prioritize the boss to ROCCAT. They're taking big damage. Uther's going to go down in the back of all of this. Puszek team's going to right-click the core, and that is going to be a 2-0 here for Puszek team after some fantastic execution. 9 kills to 3. Kung Fu hustle. Lily does it, boys. Easy peasy.
She did. Yeah, that was really good here by Puszek. Definitely. After seeing this game, I have to say I'm pretty impressed by them once again. It's not the first time that I've seen them play well, but this was what we call in StarCraft a very well-conducted series with different build orders, so to speak, you know, I guess in terms of talents and draft. And yeah, they did pretty well for themselves here. Yeah. Having a lot of poke and played their comp to, I guess, to the best of its capability.
And to the map, really. Like, when you're drafting something like that, of course their hand was a little bit forced with their healer, but the thing is that I think, if I look at the draft, they kind of fell, ROCCAT kind of fell into a little bit of a trap. Yes, you can do the double healer composition and then try and ban out one of the healers, but if you're taking a Tyrande in 2 of those first picks here at Puszek team, they have that extra little sustainability to go alongside a Lili, to be able to do that, and they still have the poke here on Cursed Hollow. So, once again, I think that the drafts here in game number 1 and 2 from Puszek team were fantastic.
I think one of the things that they did best here that I don't see everybody do super well is free the Lily every time she got web blasted, because every single time that was web blast was basically safe for Lily. And I don't know what this guy was screaming on TeamSpeak. It was probably something like, set me free, set me free, set me free, until they did, because every single time they got right on it, set the Lily free, and then started getting healed again. It's almost as if Web Blast was completely useless that game.
Yeah, it didn't really do too much at all, unfortunately, there for our new Barak. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for the first series here of the day. We are going to go to a short break for the ESL Major League, and when we're back, we're going to have series number 2 of the day. It's going to be Team Kingwin going up against Huron team.